What's up, Cedar Park? Up first, Choir's Camp Rockstar makes a return.
Catch the top 3 things you need to know this morning and this week's edition of our Hispanic Heritage Month Spotlight.
An all-new Pack Chat and Pet of the Week.
Turn it up because the Wolfcast starts now. Good morning, Cedar Park, and welcome back. I'm Abby Martinez, and I'm here this morning with Jack Polshik and Katie Whitmarsh.
Over the 4-day weekend, the choir program helped elementary students put on a Halloween-themed show. While most of us were out relaxing on our days off, a handful of choir members held a day camp for young students. The choir students chose 3 songs to perform with the kids, dressed up in costumes, and performed a mini concert all in one day.
I think that my favorite part is probably going to be seeing the kids perform and watching their parents' faces. And I just can't wait to see the kids perform for their parents and be like, "Mom, look what I did."
Camp Rockstar is one of the choir program's biggest fundraisers of the year. So if you want to help or have a younger sibling who may be interested, make sure to keep an eye out for it next year.
Now, as we continue recognizing National Hispanic Heritage Month, the Wolfcast is spotlighting one Hispanic Texan a week. This week's Hispanic Heritage Spotlight is on film director and UT alumni Robert Rodriguez, known for movies like Dusk Till Dawn and the Spy Kids franchise. Rodriguez was born in San Antonio and went on to attend film school at the University of Texas at Austin. Some of his best-known films include Desperado, Sin City, and the Spy Kids franchise.
I remember when I went to make Spy Kids, the studio was like, "But why are you making them Hispanic? Why don't you just make them American?" Well, they are American. They're Hispanic American.
That was actually the conversation that they had with you.
Because they understand they've never seen it before.
Right.
And you can't imitate until someone does it first. No one had ever, you couldn't point to a movie that had ever done it.
Right.
So this was the first.
Yep.
So I said, "No, they're American. It's based on my family. We speak English."
We're American.
But don't you think it might just appeal only to Latins then? It goes, "I don't think so." But I couldn't point to anything that had already existed.
Right. Well, a lot of time's passed since then.
So then I finally said, okay, I came up with an argument. This is good. You don't have to be British to enjoy James Bond.
Before Spy Kids, his breakout film, El Mariachi, premiered at the Sundance Film Festival in 1993. He then collaborated with Quentin Tarantino on the vampire thriller and cult classic From Dusk Till Dawn, starring Salma Hayek.
I'm friends with George Lucas. He said, "It's so smart you stayed in Austin, because that's why I'm in Marin County. When you live outside of Hollywood, you're living outside of the box. And you think outside of the box, automatically you're going to make innovations. You're just going to trip over them because you're just away from tradition." Right. They all do the same thing over and over. That's why I was breaking so much new ground here. It's because I was away from there. So I started shooting digital before anybody in Hollywood.
Hollywood has not made Rodriguez forget his Texas roots. He says he prefers making films in Austin.
Coming up next, the top 3 things you need to know this morning, but first, these announcements.
Now Ryan Green is here with us at the top 3 things you need to know for this morning. Ryan?
Thanks, Jack. First off, multiple children fell ill yesterday due to a carbon monoxide leak in a Pennsylvania daycare. The owner of the daycare received a call from one of her employees who said they noticed something was wrong with one of the children, who ended up passing out. 29 people were admitted into the hospital, but are all in stable condition currently. Next, Travis County EMS responds to 234 incidents at weekend 1 of ACL. Over 70,000 people were at the festival each day, and of those, there were 16 people taken to the hospital. EMS leaders say the main problem was people overheating, and they suggest to pre-hydrate if you plan on being in the heat all day. And lastly, NASA confirms that the DART mission impact has successfully changed an asteroid's motion in space. Data collected over the last couple of weeks at NASA's Double Asteroid Redirection Test team has seen the asteroid Dimorphos have an altered orbit. It was a test of NASA's ability to protect Earth from hazardous space objects, and this is the first time humans have purposely changed the motion of a celestial object. I'm Ryan Green, and those are your top 3 things for this morning.
Okay, so like how is that gonna help us later being able to like redirect?
Well, if there's an asteroid or something that's about to hit Earth, they can like just go boop, and then it's gone.
So they just kind of like push to the side a bit,
I guess so.
and then we're good.
I guess so.
All right, sweet. Easy fix.
All right, thanks, Ryan.
Now it's time for your pet of the week. Our pet of the week is Arthur Che's dog, Meatloaf. Arthur got Meatloaf 5 years ago and he grew up very fast. He doesn't know how big he is, but he is a very sociable and sweet dog. He has eaten many things that he shouldn't have, such as his leash, 2 batteries, a lot of grass, and a few of his toys. Despite all the trouble he gets himself into, he still never learns his lesson. If you'd like your pet to be featured on Pet of the Week, direct message us on our Instagram account at CPHS News or tweet us your videos and a short bio of your pet, also at CPHS News.
Up next, a brand new edition of our student opinion segment, the Pack Chat, but first, a quick break. Welcome back to the Pack Chat. I'm Jack Walshuk, joined by Abby Martinez, Ishani Pandey, and Mia Morneau. The Pack Chat is our student opinion segment where we will be discussing this week's most trending topics and share some of your thoughts on social media along the way. So let's get started. First, NATO is pushing its annual nuclear testing exercises as planned, which involves unarmed jets typically able to carry nuclear weapons to survey. This routine comes with lingering potential threats of nuclear weapons being involved in the Russia-Ukraine war, but NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg says it would send a very wrong signal if we suddenly canceled our routine, long-planned exercise because of the war in Ukraine, end quote. So, do you think they should be doing these kinds of exercises in times like these?
I feel like they could be rescheduled or reconsidered, definitely, just because it's routine doesn't mean it has to be continued.
Personally, I don't like nuclear bombs. That's just a me thing.
Yeah, no, I feel like it's the kind of thing that you should play by ear. You should have a routine, but it should be flexible.
I mean, but maybe if they like suddenly kind of cancel it, because they do it every year, like then it's gonna look bad on their part, and then it could send a wrong message to Russia, you know?
I understand that, and that's like definitely something to consider on they're the government, you know, it's just like, it's such a bigger scale. But I feel like, you know, my opinion is to just be more a little like sensitive of like what is going on, and it feels just like at a horrible time that like they just want to continue on with their yearly thing.
Yeah, and like with Russia, like you said, that sends the wrong signal. Then like if Russia also has stuff they can use, then it's like, okay, this is making it a whole lot worse.
It's bad on both sides.
Yeah.
Next, popular indie singer Rex Orange County has been charged with 6 counts of sexual assault. He has denied the accusations and has pled not guilty in court on Monday. And a provisional date has been set to January 3rd, 2023 for the trial to continue. This is kind of like, this is kind of
It's heavy.
shocking news.
It's heavy.
For a lot of people.
There's been a lot of like people who have like said like his songs helped me get through my like assault, so they kind of feel like taken aback by it.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's like totally valid, but I do think that it's important to keep the victims in mind.
Yeah,
because
totally.
going to social media and being like, this is the worst news of my life, you know, people are being really dramatic with it, in the sense that like it also affected the victim's life, and we gotta just keep that in mind.
There's also like people who have said like, man, he said this was his last, or he wasn't gonna do the tour because he had personal reasons, and he knew that this would be his last show. Like, he's not the victim here.
Yeah.
He's the criminal.
I think it's okay to mourn like a really good artist and like someone who could have helped you through things with his art, but I definitely think we should look at the bigger picture.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. Finally, ACL had a pretty successful first weekend here with artists like SZA, Pink, The Chicks, Lil Nas X, and more performing over the 3-day span. So what do we think of the lineup? You went to ACL, right, Abby?
Here's what I gotta say. Every year, everyone's like, this lineup is so bad. Oh my gosh, this is awful, so bad. Which sometimes, you know, could be a little bit better. But they still go. People still go every single year. And you know what? I think the lineup, from what I saw, was pretty good. Pink, most insane concert of my life. She literally hung from the sky.
I saw the zip line.
Yeah, literally insane. Very nostalgic this year. There was a lot of people that I feel like I used to listen to when I was younger that was kind of like, oh, this is, fun, like Paramore and Pink. So I had a good time. I think everyone craps on the lineup every year, but they still go.
I thought it was cool. It was a good lineup of like big artists and then like your independent.
People get mad because there isn't like 15 big artists that go on in a row.
Yeah.
Like there's gonna be smaller artists.
Yeah, and then a lot of artists don't want to come to Texas anymore, so it's just like we take what we can get, and it was a pretty good lineup.
I don't think that people had an issue with like the smaller artists. It was mainly the headliners people had an issue with. Well, how was SZA? Did you see her?
I did see SZA. She was pretty good actually. I had no complaints about the headliners. I think they're all pretty good.
All right, well, that's all we have for today's Pack Chat. And remember, Pack, there's always time to chat, and we'll be right back after this quick break.
This is CPHS Talk, and you're watching the Wolfcast.
That's all we have for you today. Make sure to keep up with all of our content and subscribe to our YouTube at CPHS News.
You can also follow at CPHS_sports for updates during the games.
We'll see you tomorrow with stories on Culinary's Luncheon, CPHS's improv group PNG, and more.
Thanks for taking time to join us this morning.
With CPHS News, I'm Katie Whitmars.
I'm Jack Polishuk.
And I'm Miss Martinez's daughter. Remember to make it a great day or not. The choice is yours. Have a wonderful Wednesday, Cedar Park.